If you are a diasporan and you are living in the West, you need to hear this. The West is declining, and many of us are not financially prepared for what is actually coming ahead. A lot of us, we're not taking track of our finances. We're working, 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 and at the end of the month, we don't have money left. Some of us are just allowing our money to run away with us. We're not taking track of our spending. A lot of us are not budgeting. A lot of us are not thinking about returning home. Now, I am a child of the 80s. I grew up in the 80s. And a lot of the diasporans, especially my mum's generation, they came in the 60s and 70s and 80s. And when they came, they said, they're going to only stay in the UK, US, Europe for a short time, and then they're going to go home. A lot of them have never been home. Some of them are actually in their graves. They died in the Western world, saying one day, one day, one day. One day is not going to get you home. You need a financial plan. You need a strategy. You need an exit strategy, most importantly. And people are not thinking about that. But listen, there's nothing going on in the West right now. People are moving back to the motherland. I certainly moved back 3 years ago because I just saw the signs. Politically, what was going on. You've got the issues of the cost of living crisis. Things are going really expensive. When I was younger, if you worked in the supermarket, you would be able to buy your own property, right? You worked in Tesco's, Sainsbury's, whatever. You could buy your own property. Now, there are graduates and people who have graduated from really good universities and working in the city in decent jobs cannot afford a house. There are professionals that are having to house share. Is it HTMO or whatever you call it now? They're having to house share because they cannot afford to buy a house. This is what's going on in the West right now. Whereas where I am, I'm in Kenya. I'm in the coast, an absolutely stunning place of the world. You can buy a house here. You can live a luxurious life. You can have peace. You can enjoy yourself. Now, I'm not saying that Africa doesn't have its challenges. Of course it has its challenges. But which one am I going to pick? Am I going to pick peace and okay, it has its challenges, maybe the systems and the way things are done is not like the Western world? Or am I going to pick really good systems, everything works well, but I'm depressed, I don't feel balanced, I don't have much money, or I'm always struggling, I'm the hamster on the wheel. I remember when I was in the UK, running my business and also working in the corporate world, I felt that whatever I did, however hard I worked, I was not going to be promoted like my white counterparts. And in running my business, I always felt like there was a glass ceiling, like my business just couldn't break through. Now, when I left the West, I didn't leave on impulse. I never left on emotion. I came to Kenya in 2017. And when my foot landed in Kenya, I knew I wanted to live there. Now, I didn't have much money. In fact, I was a consultant and I was in between jobs and I didn't have work for a very long time. So I didn't have the capital to move. I didn't really know many people. I knew one person that I'd come to do some charity work with, but I knew I wanted to move. And I knew that the only way that I could do that is to have one, a financial plan, and two, an exit strategy. It took me 5 years to relocate. So I'm not saying you should just get up and relocate today. No, you look, I have clients that say to me, oh, I want to relocate, but it's going to take about 5 years, 10 years. Fantastic. You've got the time to plan. You've got the time to research. You've got the time to build wealth. And that's the key. It's about building before you leave. You are in a great position because you have a lot of tools at your disposal. You have a lot of resources and services at your disposal. Living in Africa, you know that there is, how do I call it? I think it's internet discrimination. I don't know, online discrimination. There are a lot of services and apps and tools and online sites that is not available in our region. and we still make a way. This is what I love about Africans. They will find a way. As much as the West can oppress them, as much as things are not may not be going their way, they will make a way, right? But you don't have to face all of those things. We don't even have TikTok shop where we are. So you have all of these things at your disposal. So while you are in the West, instead of wishing one day, sit and make a financial plan and an exit plan. And listen, I just want to say another thing as well about debt, because I was in debt and I had to clear my debt before coming. If you are in debt, you have no business relocating because debt will find you. This is a global world right now. It's not like back in the day where you could be in debt and then run off to another country. No, there are global footprints. These are the banks talk to each other, right? So you can't run. So it's very important that you clear your debt. You build a financial foundation. The first step to building a financial plan and an exit strategy is number one, knowing exactly where your money is, the status of your money. You need to know how much you earn. You need to know how much you spend. You need to know how much you're saving. Now, I know this seems really obvious, but you will be surprised how many people don't know this. Before I started to get financially astute, I was like that. I used to even sometimes be scared to even look in my bank account. I didn't even used to look at that app. I wouldn't even open my bank statements. There are people that are like that. I certainly was. And so it is important that you get used to looking into your bank statements, checking where you are, looking at your credit card statements, making sure that you're not spending here, you're not spending there. What is your burn rate every month? And what I mean by burn rate is how much money do you need to spend every single month? Some people don't even know that. They don't have a budget. So one month is this amount of money, the other month is that amount of money. Listen, stay with me. I'm talking about exiting the West, yeah? I know we're going into money, but this is foundational stuff. We cannot be looking at land and looking at amazing places in Africa, looking at your property when we haven't sorted 101 out first. So if your rent, your bills, your food, your travel, entertainment is 2,500 a month, you need to know that number. And I'm talking to a T. So the first thing that you need to do is create a budget. You can't live like one month is 2005, the other month is 2,500. No, you need to actually have a budget to know that this is how much is going out. Because if you come to Africa and you are not financially astute, if you don't understand these things, you will run out of money. Remember, Africa is a cash society, right? It's not credit. You know, if you don't have any money in Africa, there's no credit card that's going to save you. There's no loans like that. Yeah, the banks give loans and credit cards, but the interest is not even worth it. We buy things cash here. We buy our houses cash. We buy our cars cash. We buy everything cash. It is a cash society. So while you are in the West, it is really, really good to get your mindset into managing your finances and knowing exactly what your burn rate is. So, number two, you need to stabilize your income. And what do I mean by stabilizing your income? Listen, you need to get a hold of your spending. I mentioned this earlier. Curb your spending. Also, managing black tax. Some of us are pressured. Yes, I called it black tax. Some of us are pressured to be sending money back home, right? You can't even sleep at night. I know some people that their phone is constantly on do not disturb. When I call them, the phone cuts off. They'll see that I've called and they'll call me back because they have the pressure of people back home asking for school fees, asking for this hospital money, food money, etc. Let me tell you something. Being here in Africa has made me realize they survive. They will survive without you. And in fact, sometimes it makes them lazy. They know that money is coming in every month, so they don't do anything and they just spend. Money that comes easy, you don't value it because you didn't have to work for it. So there's an actual book, there's a really good book called When Helping Hurts. Sometimes helping can hurt. So You know, don't be pressured with black tax. Okay. Sometimes you need to say no. What do they say on the plane? Make sure that you put the mask on your head before you put the mask on your child's head, even your own child. You've got to make sure that you're putting the mask on your head first. You've got to be okay first. What is the point of you living in one room? You are living paycheck to paycheck. You are suffering. But yet every single month, when it comes to payday, your heart is beating and pumping because you know you've got to send your salary home. You're not going to build that way. You're not going to build that way. In fact, you're going to get stressed and your nervous system is going to go into overdrive and you're just going to make yourself sick. So the black tax has to stop. You have to put your foot down and you need to focus to build wealth. We're coming to it. We're talking about build wealth. Listen, I'm all about helping diasporans build wealth so they can exit exit Babylon, but exit Babylon peacefully, with power, and with a plan. The next one is strengthening your income. If your salary is barely enough to survive in London, Manchester, New York, wherever you are, Canada, wherever, how do you think you're going to survive in Africa? No, you're going to have to increase your income. And there are several ways of increasing your income. It could be looking at having a promotion. Maybe you need to go and take a course, upskill. Look at what's happening now with AI. Now, employers don't even care about the degree that you've got or anything. They want to know, do you know how to use AI, right? And if you are in the UK, as I am speaking at the time of this video, the gov. Website has free AI courses for free. Okay, you can thank me later. So you have no excuse. It might mean that you need to upskill yourself. Okay, so that's one option. Another option might be that a side hustle, setting up a business. There are entrepreneurs amongst us, amongst you, that is wishing to come out. But the problem is, you're scared of what people will think. You're scared of coming online to promote your business because what is this person going to be thinking about me? What's this person going to be saying? Listen, whether you go online, whether you don't go online, whether you have a business, whether you don't have a business, they will speak about you anyway. Okay? So, as my dad will say, bun that, bun that. Who cares? At the end of the day, do they pay your bills? Are they in your house? No, they're not. So just get up and go and do that business. If you've got that desire within you, you know, feel the fear and do it anyway. I mean, what is there to lose? If it fails, you just know how not to do it and then do it again. I've had so many failed business ventures before I, was successful in the business that I'm doing now. I've had so many failed adventures. It is what it is. We get up and we move on. So, creating a business is one way of upping your income. You could also negotiate a higher salary. Some of you are underpaid. Some of you are working like dogs, and your employers are not appreciating you. You need to negotiate your pay, right? You need to know that you are making a difference to that company. You are helping that company blossom. So you should deserve to be paid. If you know that you're going to relocate and you say I'm going to relocate in 5 years, I'm going to relocate in 3 years, etc., then you've got the time. You've got the time to put the plan in place. The next one is to build an emergency cushion. This is very, very important. Some people relocate and they will have the money for the flight, the money for the shipping, they'll have the money for their rent and everything else, and just money to get by, but they don't have a cushion. A lot of people that do this are those who are maybe working for a company. They might be expats, they're working for a company, or they might be a digital nomad and they're thinking, oh, I'm getting paid in pounds, in dollars, in euros, so the money's a lot. That's the worst thing you can do. Make sure that you think in local currencies or your money will run out. There's no, oh my goodness, this is cheap, so let's just spend, spend, spend. No, think in local currencies. It's very, very important. So if you have a job, an expat job, an international job, a digital nomad, and you are relying on your salary, but you don't have a cushion, maybe 3 months to 6 months. I always say 6 months to be safe. 6 months cushion. If your job decides to let you go, or if your money dries up as a digital nomad, maybe your clients have dried up, etc., you're screwed. So you need to have at least 6 months of cushion money. And that cushion money should cover your rent every single month for the 6 months. It should cover your food, your travel, your medical, if you've got children, your school fees, whatever your lifestyle is, it needs to cover that for 6 months before you relocate. So let me ask you something. If you stopped earning tomorrow, just say, how long do you think you can survive? 6 months, 3 months, 1 month, 2 weeks? If your answer is 2 weeks, you have no business relocating. A proper exit strategy means that you can land in Africa without panic. You have peace. And the thing I love about Africa is if you plan properly, if you have a good financial plan, right, you will enjoy. Africa is beautiful. You would soft life. Hey, you will live the soft life. Okay, you will be thinking to yourself, why didn't I relocate earlier? The food. When I go back to the UK and I eat the meat, I eat the fruit, it's just not the same. It just tastes artificial. Whereas here, I mean, in my garden, I get to plant food. I go to the farm, I go to the market, fresh produce. I live by the ocean. I go to the ocean to buy my fish. I don't even go to the fish shop. The fisherman comes with his boat, catch of the day. I don't know what's going to be in his boat. And literally, I pick what I want and he cleans it on the beach and I take it home and I cook. I mean, where are you going to get that in the UK? You're not going to get that, you know. So if you plan properly, if there is a good financial strategy, Africa is beautiful. It is sweet. It is amazing. But if you don't plan, if you don't have a good exit strategy, if you don't sort out your finances, Africa can be hell on earth. And I don't want that for you. So, the final thing that you need to do as part of your financial strategy and your exit plan is repositioning your money internationally. This basically means don't keep all your savings in one currency. So the last point that I'm going to make is to reposition your money strategically. Now, what I mean by that is don't put all your money in one currency. So my mum, she's a very smart woman, okay? She bought savings bonds in Ghana. And it wasn't even that long. I think she bought it and I think she kept it for about a couple of years. It wasn't that long. And the interest was crazy because the interest rates that they were offering at the time, you wouldn't get that in the UK. So she bought these bonds, and every single time she goes to Ghana, she doesn't even need to take any pounds with her. She spends in Ghana, because she's got her money there. So I adopted the same philosophy when I was relocating, and it's worked for me. I used to go back and forth to Kenya, and I'd have money in Kenya. Now, I do know that when it comes to Africa, not all banks are safe. Obviously, you have to do your research. You have to make sure that that bank has been going for a very long time, is government backed, etc. But Africa offers a lot of opportunities when it comes to the banking system. Guys, sometimes we always look to the West for opportunities while there are a lot of opportunities in Africa. And I got to know that when I started to focus and be more intentional about my exit plan. So with good research, you can move your money, right? You can look into stocks and shares. You can look into the banking system and see ways where you can double your income. When it comes to exiting the West, you must move slowly, strategically, with intention, and with research to make it successful. Listen, Most diasporans, they want the relocation inspiration. They want the videos with a beautiful backdrop and people saying that I relocated to Africa and I found my ancestors and yeah, I'm at peace. It's amazing. Yeah, there is all of that. There is all of that, but there is also the hard truth that you need to build strategically and financially. And that doesn't make the news. That's not sexy. But that's not what this channel is about. I'm going to give you the tools because I want you to be successful. I don't want you to come to Africa and then having to go back to the West with your tails between your legs because it didn't work out. Listen, if the West continues to tighten economically, only the prepared are going to have options. Look, the West declining is not the emergency. Being unprepared is the emergency. Diasporans, build your exit strategy now. This is my very first video. My name is Afriye and I help diasporans to build wealth before they leave. Yes, a lot of people talk about going to Africa and making the money there. No, I think that's the wrong way around. I think while you are in the West, that's the time to build at least seed money so that you can then build even more when you go to Africa. So if you like this content, then please like, subscribe, share, tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a friend. And if you want to build your wealth, continue to watch my videos. Thank you so much, and I will see you on the next video.